Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today. Have you ever stopped to think about how new words come into existence, or how our vocabulary continuously evolves to keep up with innovations, trends, and cultural shifts? Today, I will delve into the fascinating topic of word formation, the process by which new words are created in a language. This process is fundamental for effective communication as it enables us to articulate new ideas and adapt to a rapidly changing world. By the end of this presentation, I hope you will have a deeper appreciation of how words are formed and why this linguistic phenomenon is so vital.
To begin, let's examine derivation. This process involves attaching prefixes or suffixes to a root word to form a new word. For instance, consider the word happy. By adding the prefix on, we get unhappy, which reverses the meaning. Similarly, adding the suffix full to joy gives us joyful, signifying a state of being full of joy. Derivation plays a crucial role in language because it allows us to alter meanings and change a word's grammatical category. For example, the noun care becomes the adjective careless when the suffix less is added, conveying the idea of lacking care. This method enriches our vocabulary by providing greater depth and flexibility in expression.
Next, let's discuss compounding, a process where two or more words are combined to create a new term. For example, merging sun and flower produces sunflower, a completely new word with its own distinct meaning. Another common example is bookcase, formed by combining book and case. Compounding is a particularly significant in naming new concepts or objects. For instance, technological advances have given rise to terms like keyboard and smartphone. This process underscores the creativity of language, demonstrating how familiar words can be combined to convey entirely new ideas.
Now, let's explore blending and clipping. Blending involves fusing parts of two words to create a new one. For example, smog is a blend of smoke and fog, while brunch combines breakfast and lunch. Blends are often inventive and catchy, making them easy to adopt into everyday usage. Clipping, on the other hand, shortens longer words for convenience. Examples include fridge from refrigerator and math from mathematics. This process is particularly common in informal contexts where brevity is valued.
Now, let's examine borrowing, a process where one language adopts words from another. For instance, the word ballet is borrowed from French, while karaoke comes from Japanese. Borrowing illustrates how language evolve and influence one another through cultural interaction. Modern English, for example, includes a wealth of borrowed words from Latin, Greek, Arabic, and many other languages. This process not only expands a language vocabulary, but also reflects the historical and cultural exchanges between different societies.
Now let's talk about back formation. This is a process where a new word is created by removing what seems like a suffix or affix from an existing word. It's like looking at a word and simplifying it to create something new. For example, take the word editor. People assume that the verb edit must have come first and that editor was derived from it. In reality, it's the other way around. Editor existed first, and edit was backformed from it. Another example is television. The noun came first, and then the verb televise was created by dropping the ion ending and adding e. Back formation often happens because of a natural assumption about how words should relate to each other. It's a very logical yet creative process. This type of word formation is common in everyday language, especially when we need a simpler, more practical word from an action or process.
Now, let's look at acronyms. Acronyms are words formed from the first letters of a phrase. They are pronounced as a single word. They are incredibly useful in simplifying long or complex terms. For example, NASA. NASA stands for National Aeronautics and Space Administration. And instead of saying the full name every time, we use the acronym, which is much faster and easier. Another well known example is SCOBA, which stands for Self Contained Underwater Breathing Apparatus. Acronyms are everywhere in modern life. Think of as soon as possible or COVID coronavirus disease. They are especially common in technical fields like medicine, science, and technology. One interesting thing about acronyms is that over time, people may forget what the letters originally stood for. They become words in their own right. Can you think of other acronyms used often without realizing they are acronyms?
Now let's talk about coinage, which refers to the creation of completely new words. Coinage is a fascinating process because it involves inventing a word from scratch, usually to describe something new or to name something that previously didn't have a specific term. This often happens with new products, technologies, or cultural trends. For example, the word Xerox started as a brand name for a photocopying machine. Over time, it became so popular that it started being used generically to mean any photocopying machine or the act of photocopying itself. Another well-known example is Kleenex, which originally referred to a specific brand of tissue but is now used to refer to any tissue, regardless of brand. This phenomenon is called generalization, where a brand name becomes the common term for a product.
Finally, let's explore reduplication. This is when a new word is formed by repeating a sound or a syllable, sometimes with a slight variation. A simple example is bye bye, which is a reduplication of the word boy. Others include Peter patter to describe the sound of the rain, or zigzag to describe a winding path. In these cases, reduplication adds rhythm and emphasis to the word. In English, reduplication is often playful or used in informal speech. For instance, we might say super duper for extra emphasis or hush hush to mean secretive. It's also very common in a baby talk like mama or dada. In some other languages, reduplication has grammatical functions like pluralization or intensification, shows how universal and versatile the process is.
In conclusion,
Finally,
we have explored the dynamic and diverse processes of word formation, focusing on derivation, compounding, conversion, blending, and clipping, borrowing, back formation, acronym, coinage, and reduplication. Each of these methods contributes uniquely to the development and expansion of a language. Word formation is far more than a technical linguistics process. It is a testament to human creativity and adaptability. It mirrors how societies innovate, connect, and evolve over time. So, the next time you encounter a word like branch or Google, take a moment to reflect on the richer processes that brought it into existence. Thank you for your attention.